Welcome to MacroCode. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. So today we are going to learn about ASP.NET Core MVC. So we're going to create a simple ASP.NET Core MVC app. That is a beginner series for those who are new to ASP.NET Core. So to begin with, I'm using Visual Studio 2022. And as you can see, we can create a new project. So we are going to create a new project. So then we will choose an ASP.NET MVC. So you can see here, I'm choosing ASP.NET MVC. You can also type on the template. So you can just do ASP.NET MVC. So then you'll be able to see we have a project template for creating ASP.NET Core application with example ASP.NET Core MVC views and controllers. So let's just use this one. So I'm going to click on it, then proceed to next. So if I proceed to next, then I'll be asked where to store my project. So this is the folder that I have for storing projects. Then I'll just give my project a simple name. So I'm going to call this CRUD, or we can call it, let's create a customer management system. So I'm going to do customer management system. So if we do that, so this will be customer management. I'm going to do that way. So this will be customer management system. So you can give the name that you like. Then I'm going to proceed to next. So here we are going to do a CRUD operation using .NET Core MVC, that is using .NET 8, which is actually in long-term support. So I'm going to use .NET 8. Then under authentication type, I'm going to use individual accounts. So as you can see, so we are going to log into your app, and even we can register users. So then I'll just create my app. So click create, and our app should be created. So there we go. So our app has been created, and as you can see, we have different folders within our application. So we have program.cs class, which is actually our entry point to our application. Then we have the views, we have the home views, and we have the shared layouts. Then you also have the models. So this is where we can place our models. Then we have our data. We have the folder for our migrations and our ApplicationDbContext. So this is where we'll be placing our models that will actually translate to tables. Then we also have our controllers. You see, here we have just a single controller for home. Then under areas, you'll be able to see we have identity and we have pages. So if we just launch this app, we should be able to see our simple app without doing anything. So let's just launch the app and see what will happen. So for those who are new to this channel, consider subscribing. And we are going to do this beginner series for those who are new to .NET. And we should be able to create a simple customer management system. And I hope all you'll be able to get some insights. So there we go. Our app is launching. So let's just confirm. As you can see, we have, this is our customer management system. And at the top here, we have register. You can actually register a user and you can log in a user. So we can do some modifications to this app. So if you just go to our layout, under shared layout, then under layout, you can actually give it some names. If you just check on it here, I can just give this as a customer management system, and I should be able to use that. Then here you can see I have home and privacy. The same thing you are able to see here, home and privacy. So that is a simple app that we've just created without doing anything. So let's just link this to our database. So I'm going to create a database. So I'm opening my SQL Server Management Studio. Then we should be able to create our database. So let's just confirm. So I'm going to link it to my, so let's just, let me just have this there so that you're able to see what is happening. So here, I've opened my Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. And here you can see I have different databases. So I'm going to create a database here called customers. So we're going to create a simple app for customers. So I'll just do customers. So if we just do that, then I'll have my table for customers. So the next thing is we need to link our application. Currently, our application is not linked to any database. So if you just see on our application, we have this AppSettings.json. So I'm going to link this here. And how do we get the server name? So if you go to Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio, there is this icon. If you click on it, it will actually give you the server name. So this is my server name. I'm going to copy my server name. Then I'll replace it with this one. Then the database name, you see, it requires the database. I'll also come here and copy the name of my database that we've just created. So I'll rename it here. Then go back to my app settings. So this is where we link our application to the database. So I'll remove all this and I can actually link it to my database. So I'll have it as customers. Then we have trust connection is true and multiple active result set is true. So I want us also to add something. So I'll just do comma. Then I'll say trusted server certificate. So just add trusted server certificate and you can add this to true. So that is the only thing I want you guys to add. So if we just add that, we should now be able to link our applications to our customers table. But that is database. But to begin with, I want us to create a model called customers. So let's just create a model, and this model will actually now act as part of our table. So we are going to create a model called customer. Then in this customer model, we are going to define some properties. So one is I want us to have a public int, which will be our primary key ID. So that is our primary key. Then we can have a public, our customer name. So we can just do customer name. We can have customer email. So let's just do customer email. We can also do customer phone. We can also do customer address. We can also do customer city. We can also do customer region. We can also do postal code. We can also do country. Then we can also do phone number. We had actually done phone number here, so you can just do away with this. Just do phone number. Then you can also do a fax. Then, sorry, we can also do, let me just do that. Then you can also do, we have just done ID, phone number. We can actually do, let's change this to VAT number. Then we can also do, what other thing can we do? I think we can just do ID, name, email, address, city, region, postal code, country, phone number, fax, and VAT number. So this is enough. So we have our model called customer. So what we need to do now, and in case you want to make some of the fields here mandatory, you can actually do here required. I'll just do here required. You can see this is our name will be required and our email address will be required. So you can do that. And in case you want to make some properties empty, you can also do string. Then we can say dot empty. So if we do that, then we are good to go. So you can actually assign this to some of the properties. And you can see if you do that, then this nullable property must contain a null value. So this one will actually go away. So if you just do that, you do that, and assign it in case you don't want to be mandatory. We'll also do that. My phone number, I may want this to be mandatory, so I'll just do that. Then I'll also do here that is empty. I can also do this here to be empty. So as you can see, this is how our model looks like. So so one thing that you need to know is how we are connecting this to the database. So remember, we've done a connection to our default connection string. So we have the server name here, we have our database customers, we have added this trusted server certificate, and we have trusted connection and all this. So if you come to program.cs, you'll be able to see that we have our connection string. It will getting our connection string from our default connection. So this default connection is actually the name of this connection string here. So then if you come to program.cs, you'll be able to see we have our services, add ApplicationDbContext. So this is our, now our ApplicationDbContext will be acting as our intermediary between our application and the database. And you can see it is using SQL Server. So that means if you come to our dependencies, you'll be able to see that there are some NuGet packages that have been installed. And one of them is our Microsoft.entity-framework-core.sql. That's why we are able to use this one. So if you are using a different database, then you'll be able to choose the different NuGet package, and you'll actually change this. Whether you are using MySQL or Postgre, you'll be able to change these two to actually use the correct NuGet packages that you are using. So for our case, we are linking this to SQL Server. So the next thing that I want us to do is let's go back to our application, that is identity. Under areas, then we go to data, then here, then data, then ApplicationDbContext. So under ApplicationDbContext, you'll be able to see that there is nothing that has been defined here. So we need to add, so I want us to add something. So just outside this curly braces, I want us to add something here. So this is where we will be adding our tables. So our tables will come just there. So I want us to do public, then dbset, just do dbset, then pass in our model, which is our customer model. Then if you do that, then you should be able to give it a name. So you should give it a name for our table. So our table name will be customers. So ensure this name is what you need to have within our database. So this is the name that will be translated to our tables. So what we are doing is actually known as code first approach. So we are actually defining our models, which will then be translated to tables. So you can see here we now have the customers, which will actually be our table name. So if we save this and we need now to do this, so how are we effecting these changes to our tables? So if you come to our database, you'll be able to see that under customers database, we don't have any table. So as you can see, we don't have any table so far. So, but we need to translate this customers table to be part of our database here. So to do that, I want us to do one thing. We need to add migrations. So to add migrations, you'll just go to tools at the top of our IDE, then come to NuGet Package Manager Console, then Package Manager Console. Then on the Package Manager Console, you'll be able to see there is a command prompt that will come here, down here. Then there is a console window here. So what we need to do, we'll add migration. So there is a command called add migration. So add migration, then you give the name of our migration. So we are going to say initial migration. So if we press enter, our migration file will be generated, and we should be able to update our database with the changes that we want. So let's just see what will happen. So you can see build succeeded, and we should be able to see a file called initial migration generated. So if you come to our folder called my data, then under migrations folder, you'll be able to see there is a file called initial migration with a timestamp on it. So you'll be able to see there is some timestamp on it with the name called initial migration. So if you click on it, you'll be able to see there is something called create table customers. So our table will be created with these fields. You see the ID, which is actually a primary key, the name, the email address, the city, region, postal code, all this. And this is the table that we've just created. So to add these changes to our database, you see, we need now to tell our to effect these changes to our database. Because if you come now to our tables, that is our database, you'll be able to see we still don't have any tables. So I'm going to the tables, and you'll see we don't have any tables so far. So to effect these changes to our database, we are going to, within our console, we are going to run another command called update database. So update database command will now create our tables within our database. So it will now make these changes to our database. So if you just come to our, you see there is something that has gone wrong, trust. So it is trusted server certificate. I think we've done some things wrong there. It should actually be called trust, not trusted. So this is trust server certificate. So we just do that. We can clear, then rerun our command. You can just type in update database. And if we just do that, we should be able to now create our table within our database. And you'll be able to see there is some actions going on within our console here. So what is going on is our tables are being created. And one thing that you need to know is if you go to our database now, you'll be able to see that some tables that are default ASP.NET tables. So I'm going to open, and you can see we now have some tables. But remember, we created only one table called customers. So one of the table is EF migration history. This will be tracking all the migrations that we have done. Remember, we did add migration and we added the file name. So that file name will be tracked. So if you come to our EF migration, you'll be able to see that we have the initial migration here, and our version is version 8.02. Then we have the ASP.NET claims, where it will actually be storing all the claims. So I'll not be going deeper into this. But these one are actually default ASP.NET tables. ASP.NET roles are storing all the roles. ASP.NET user roles storing user roles, but all the users of our application will be stored within ASP.NET users. So you'll be able to see how these can be extended, and you can see it has some default columns. Assuming you want to add these columns or introduce new columns, we'll be able to see how you can do that. So that means our table has been created, and that is customers table. You can see we have it here. So if I select on it, we should be able to see our fields. We have the ID that we provided, the name, email, address, city, region, postal code, country, phone number, fax, and the DAT number. So one interesting thing is, if we launch this application now, we can actually register a user. So let's just launch our application. And as we had just said, is our users will be stored within ASP.NET users table. So if we launch our application, you can see this is our customers management system. We can register a user. So if I just do that, I can do admin attest, and I can provide password. I can also provide my password. So if I click register, it will actually register our user to our database. And you can see it is now telling us register confirmation. This app does not currently have a real email sender registered. So if we had configured our application with an email sender, it will actually send us a notification. But for now, it has not been configured. So what it is giving us, it is giving us an option for click here to confirm your account. So if I click here, we will actually confirm. It's kind of, we have received our email and we have confirmed it. So you can see it is now telling us we have confirmed our email. So one thing is, let's go to our table. Where is that data going? So if we go to our ASP.NET users, we should be able to see the details that we've just provided. So as you can see, this is our ID that was generated by the system. We have our username that we provided, normalized username. It is actually the same as the email that we provided. But you can see email confirm, it is 1. So we've confirmed our email. That's why it is set to true. But you can see the password, it is actually hashed, and you can see the timestamp and the current timestamp. So all these other details, we've not provided them. Remember, we just registered using the email and we provided the password. So that means we can actually log into our app. So if you click login, you'll be able to see that we provide the email and the password. If I click login, I should actually be logged in. And how do you know that we are logged in? You'll be able to see it here. So at the top here, you'll be able to see that we have hello, then our email address that is in our database. So that means we have actually logged into our app, and you can as well log out. So if you log out, you see these changes to register or login. So we've done a simple connection to our database, and we have actually created a user within our application, and we are able to see where the user is. But now let's proceed and now create our customers. Remember, we added a model called customers, and we have our table called customers within our application. So the one thing that I want us to do now is I want us to do something called scaffolding. So to do that, the application will actually generate, will be able to get all the code required for us to create a simple customer within our app. So to do that, let's just go to controllers. So right click on the controllers, then add. Then there is something here called new scaffolded item. Then if you click on the new scaffolded item, it will give you this option. So what I want us to do is MVC. I want us to click MVC controller with views using entity framework. So we're actually using entity framework core. So add it, then it will give us another window. So there we go. You can see it is asking us to choose the model class. So I'm going to choose the model that we just provided. You'll be able to see it here, customer. Then DB context, we are using ApplicationDbContext. Then you will be able to see that our controller name will actually be given this name. But you can also change the controller name that you want. So if you just add, the system will actually generate all the code. And that is a complete CRUD operation for our app. That means we can be able to create a customer, edit a customer, delete a customer, and view or even update. So if our code is generating. So if you are watching this video and you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing and like our video. So it will actually help us to reach more people who are actually learning this application or even trying to get to understand ASP.NET Core in general. So as you can see, our application has generated some codes. One of the code that has been generated, we have something called customers controller. As you can see, a new controller has been added. Initially, we had only the customer, that is the home controller. But now we have the customers controller. And as you can scroll down this code, you'll be able to see there is a lot of code that has been written for us. So we don't have to do anything with these details. So the next thing to see is if you go to views, you'll be able to see that we have another folder called customers. Under customers, you have the razor pages that has been generated. That is the create, where we can create a customer, delete, view, edit, and index. So if I just run our app, I should be able to access now the customers page. And how do we do that? So if I run my app, so let's just run and see how we can access our customers page. So for now, you'll be able to see that we have only the customers management, home, privacy, register, and login. But if I just do a /customers, we should be able to access our customers page. You see, we now have our customers page. So we've done /customers and we are actually being taken here. But instead of doing that, coming here and doing /customers, we can actually add it to be part of the navigation at the top here. So how do we do that? So let's go back to our application. Then under shared layout, under layout, at the top here, you'll see there are some links. And those links are part of what we have. That is the home and the privacy. So you see we have home and privacy. So you can actually reuse it. So I'm going to copy one of these links. So I'll copy this, for example. Then I'll paste it down here. Then our area, we don't have the area. The controller name, remember we have our controller name called customers. So we'll just provide our controller name. Then our action, we want this to take us to index action. So if you go to our controller, we have different actions. So just here, you'll see we have index here. This is where we want our applications to start. We have details. And one thing that you should understand is every action here, index, details, actually represent the views. You see these views on the folders. These views create, delete, details, represent part of the actions within our controller. So let's just go back to layout. So we have our customers index, then we can give it the name. So we can say customers. I'll just do here customers. So if we do customers, then we'll have, we can now access our customers within our application page. So let's just update this. Then you should be able to see our customers link here. So there we go. So it has updated. So you see we have our customer management system, home, privacy, then customers. So if I click customers, it will actually take me now to index, and you can see it is the same thing that we did. You can put a backslash, then customers. So that means we also have an icon here for create new. So if we click create new, it will give us an option to create our customer. You see, it has given us a form. So I want us to create a customer called, let's call this Techno. So let's call it Techno. Then we can say techno@gmail.com. Then we can put in some, can say city, it is in Nairobi, region, Nairobi, can say East Africa. Can do East Africa, postal code, you can say 3200, country, this is, we can have it as Kenya, then we can have our phone number, then fax, you can have it, then VAT number, can provide the VAT. So you can key in all these information. So if we click create, our application should create our customer. So you can see we have our customer name, email address, city. So you can also create another one. So let's say another customer is Samsung. So I'll just do Samsung. Our email is samsung@gmail.com. Then address, we can do that. Can just reuse this. East Africa can have a different fax. Can also have a different VAT number. So if I click save, we are able to have these, you see, name, email address, and all these details. So you see how our form looks like. But now we can actually try to have these to look a bit better. So let's just go to our index. I want us to change some items. So here we'll call this, our title here, we can call it customers. Then I'm going to say this is customers list. So then our create here, you'll see that we have just SP. So we can actually have this, we can have a class here, and we can have this as a button. So you can say button, BTN, and you can say primary. So that will be our button. Then we can actually change this, and you can call it add new customer. So if we do that, then you can see, so one thing to note is if you come to our www root, you should be able to see that we have our CS, JS, and the lib. So under lib, we have our Bootstrap, and we have all the CSS within our Bootstrap. So the next thing also you need to be aware of is if you come to layout, you'll be able to see that all those styles are within what we have here. So that means we can actually bootstrap our app. So if you go to index, so under customers, we can actually have this table here. So if you do that, I'm going to add something. So let's just change something on our table. So we want to have our table to look a bit better. So you see currently how it looks. We can have that table. We can actually arrange this to be a table data, or we can have it as just a simple table. So we can have different styles within our table and how we want it to appear. So what I want us to do is we can actually add within our table here, we can actually add within our class here, we can add bootstrap, that is a table, then we can say table stripped. And if we just change we apply the changes and check on our app, we should be able to see that there is some coloring happening here. So we can also add another style if we want to have maybe our color to be bordered. That is our table to be bordered. We can say table bordered. So here we can add another class. I'll call it table bordered. Then if we just apply the changes, you see table border, then you have table stripped. So that means it will be having some borders lines. You see, it is actually bordered. So you can actually also add some colors in case you want, or in case you want when you are hovering on our table, you see there is some hover. So you can also add another class called table hover. So if we just do that and apply our changes, then we should be able to see. You see, if I navigate, you're able to see there is some kind of hovering. Let's add another customer. So I'm going to add Galaxy Note. Let's say this is Huawei. Then you can do Huawei at gmail.com. Then you can do here that I'm going to have this as East Africa. This is Kenya. You can have a fax number there. Then you can have a VAT. So if I create, I should be able to see now my table appearing. As you can see, we have all these details. Then if you notice on our app, this button has actually changed. So the button currently is appearing as a button. But we can also do the same thing to these other areas. So if you go back to our list, you'll be able to see that all these here is actually lumped within one table data. So we can actually separate these to be just different table data. So I'm going to copy that and paste down there and also repaste. Then I'll remove this. We just have one per table data. So I'll just do that. We had the edit here. Here I'm going to have details. Then the last one I'm going to have delete. But now we also need to have our table headers the same way we've done with our table data. So I'm going to copy that. Then here I'll just do edit. Then I'll also do here view. Then here I'll do delete. So if I do that and apply my changes, I should be able to see now we have, you see, we have the edit, view, and delete. But I can also make these to appear as buttons. So to do that, we can add our class. So here I'm going to add a class. Then I'll just say btn, then btn, and I can call this secondary. I can also copy this, and I can have it here. Maybe I can have this as primary. I have this as secondary. Then I also have this as this one. I can have it as danger. So I'll say btn danger. So danger, that applies to our buttons. So you can see we have edit, view, and delete. So one interesting thing is you can also add icons. So if we just go back to our add button, you can actually add some icons here. So I'll just do So I'll just do I. Then if I do that, I'm going to have my icon here. Then I'll just do plus. Then you can do far. So I'm going to do far. Then I can say add. Let's just see, we'll have our FontAwsome. So I don't know if we have a FontAwsome in our application or we need to add it. So let's just refresh and see. So I think we don't have it. So to add icons, we can actually add FontAwsome onto our app. So how do we do that? So let's just come to our www root. I'm going to add new, then client-side library. So if I click client-side library, I'm able to choose from the library here. So I can just type in here font. Then you should be able to see we have FontAwsome. So if I click on FontAwsome, it will actually load all the files. So you can see it has actually loaded all the files, and I want to have all these files within my application. So I'll just install, and we should be able to have all the FontAwsome within our www root. So let's just confirm. So it's still installing. So let's just wait. So there we go. So you can see under www root, it has now added a folder for FontAwsome. So we have the CSS and the JS files. So these styles, we need to actually add them to our layout. So that is a layout here. So I'm going to copy this, and I'll actually paste it down here. And you can see we are accessing, to access our FontAwsome, it is actually www root, then FontAwsome. So let me stop my application. Then we can actually rename this. So we'll be doing, so I'll just do that. So we should access it via, can do FontAwsome. Then we need to access CSS. Then we need to use this. You can use the all, and we have .css, and you can also add the FontAwsome one. I'll just copy that, paste it here. Then I'm going to also add this, the name FontAwsome.css. So you can also add the brand. So let me just copy this, paste it down here, and we can name this as I'm going to copy that, then have this here as brand. So we've added our FontAwsome. So to access that, you can actually see we are within www root, then FontAwsome folder. Then we now go to within our CSS. So if you scroll down, we can now add also our scripts. That is the JavaScripts. So I'm going to copy one of the file. Then I'm also going to use the same scenario where I'm going to access it via FontAwsome. Then I'll just paste it here. Then it will be FontAwsome JavaScript, and it is within this folder. Then I'm also going to have here as all. So I'm going to replace this as all.js, and also I'm going to add this here. And also I'm going to copy the FontAwsome one. So I'll just copy that, paste it here. I'm also going to add the brand one. So I'll just do that, and I'm going to add this brand.js. So if we do that, we can now relaunch our app. Then we can play around now with icons. So let's just see how our app looks like. So if you're watching this video and you have not subscribed, we notice 90% of you guys are watching our videos and you've not subscribed. So please consider subscribing so that you help us reach more people and also new beginners to .NET. So as you can see, let's just wait as our app launches. So there we go. So we can go to customers, and you can see we now have our customers list. And if you are keen, you'll be able to see that our button has been added. So we now have our button here. And the class that we just used is when we go to our index page, you see we just did far, then add. So we can also do, maybe if in case you want to have in case you want to increase the size, you can also increase it. But for now, let's just do something. We need to also do it on our edit buttons. So if you can see, we don't have icons on our edit buttons. So I'm going to our edit button, and I'm also going to add icon here. Then I'm also adding a class. So here I'll just do far, then I can say edit. Then here for the details, I'm also going to add icon. Then here I'm going to have class. Then do far, then For the edit, I'm going to have an I. I'll just do I. Then for the delete, I'll do an icon. Then I'll just do here class. Then I'll do here far. Then I can do trash. So one thing is I want us to add some spacing here so that it doesn't look pressed. The same thing to our add button. So I'm going to add a spacing. So if we do that and apply our changes, we should actually see that our icons should appear. So as you can see, we now have our icons within our application. So you see we have edit, details, and delete. So let's just add another. So another thing that I want us to do now, if you go to our form, you'll be able to see that our form has been arranged having only one column. So if you go to our create page, I want us to do here, instead of saying create, you can say add new customer. So then we can do away with this. So what I want us to see is I want us to arrange this to appear. You see, it is now add new customer. I want us to arrange this to be in 2 columns. So to do that, I'm going here and I'll change this MD12, 4 to 12. Then within our form, I'm going to add another div. Then I can say class. Then I'll have my div as a row. So I'll just say row. So then I'll close it. So if I close it, I need to close it up to the last area. So I'll close it up to here. So then I can format it. So we've done div, then class, row. So if we do that and apply our changes, we should not be able, so we'll see our form covering the entire area. You see, it has actually been as enlarged, covering this whole area. So what we need to do is we need to add another div class. So I'm going to copy this div class here and I'll paste it here. Then I can just say this is MD12, that is 6. Then I can close it. So I'll do that. So the next thing is I'll just be adding and closing. So I'll also do that and close this as well. So if we close that, I'll also be adding another one. So I'll be adding for every input area. I'll also be adding before the form group. And I'll also be closing after the form group. So I can also paste this, add it here, do div, close that, paste this here, can also add this here, can also do that. So I'm actually arranging. So let's just do that. Paste this again, also doing that, paste that, and I'm also closing this. So if we do that, I can now format my app so that it appears well aligned. You can see it's actually very good in terms of the arrangement. So if I just apply the changes, I should be able to see that my form has been arranged. But there is something that has happened here. You see the address is missing something. So let's just check. So this is our email. Yes, you see our address, it is part of that, and we said we should have everyone close with their own div. So I'm going to have this here and I'll do this here. So I think that is now sorted. So if we apply the changes, then our address will be now within each of the, so you see we now have one column, and our VAT number, I think it is still long. So let's just go there. Yes, there we go. So you should also do that, and we should close. So if we apply the changes, we should have our form arranged in that manner. But assuming you see we have here the name, address, email address, but you might want to have this display different name. Assuming we want to say customer name, customer email address, customer city, or customer region, customer country, or customer phone number. So we may change that display. And how do we change that? If you go to our model, we now do something called data annotations. So here, within our models here, you can actually do something here. So you can just do here square brackets, then you can say display, then you can do display name. So, and if you do that, you'll see there is something that has been borrowed, this one, using system.component model. So then here you can just do that, then you can provide the name. So this is the name that will be displayed. So I'm going to say customer name. So sorry, I'm going to type. So I'll just say customer name. Then I'm also going to add here another thing. For email, I want to say customer email address. For address, I want to say customer address. So I'll just do that, customer address. For city, I want to say maybe customer city. And region, I might want to say customer region. Then for postal code, I might want to say customer postal code. So I can do that. Country, I might want to say customer country. So these are the display. Now you can display and the names that you want to appear on your views. That is, you can say phone number. Then we can also do customer fax. So you can also do customer VAT number. But this is not a good thing to actually be doing this repetition. So you can say customer name, you can do away. So you can actually do maybe customer, that is just email address. So I'm just showing you how you can change this, but you can be having different names on how you want to have that. So, but so you can actually provide the namings as you want. So we're just using this for demonstration purposes. So if you just launch our app, we should now be able to see our names, our form giving us different names. So let's just launch our app. And the good thing is where we have used that model, it actually applies across. So you will notice that within our index page, we will now have our new names. You see? Customer name, email address, customer city, region, postal code, all these. And you can see the names are long. And if we just click add new, you should be able to see that we also have the same thing on our this other area. So what I want us to do, so for me, I'll just do away with the name customer. I just remain with that one. So I'm going to do away with that. I can do away with that. I'll also do away with that. I just retain address and region. So in case I had different namings that I want to apply, then I can actually do that. But you can see here, I'm actually giving some spacing, postal code, country, phone number, and the VAT. It is not the same as the property here. So if we launch the app, we should now be able to have our fields displayed that way, and we should be good to add the changes within our app and see what we can do. So let's just wait our app to launch, and we should be able to see what we can do next. So if you're new to this channel and you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing, like our videos, and we will really appreciate. So our app has launched. So if we go there, we should be able to see our app. And if we go to customers, we'll be able to see now our changes has taken effect. We have our countries, our city name, email address, region, postal code, phone number, and the rest. So the same thing is you may want to now, if we go to add customer, we can now add a customer, maybe Samsung 2. Provide those details here too. You can say region is East Africa. So provide the same thing here. So if we create, we can create another customer. You see, we now have that. Can also add another customer. You can say Huawei 2. Going to add that. Then it's part of East Africa. Going to provide some fax number, and I can add. So let's also add Techno. You can say Techno 2. So I'm going to do that. And if I create, I'm able to see the details. So you can see how my form now looks. And the next thing is we can actually edit. So if I click edit, I'm being presented with now my form. And you can see the form is also not well aligned. So what we can do is we can actually copy. So I'm going to copy what we have within our create here, just within the form. I'll copy everything just inside the form, and I'm going to replace it on our edit razor page. So if we go there, so I'm going to copy up to here. Then if we go to our razor page and edit, I'm going to replace everything inside here and provide it with what we have within our create page. So let's just go there up to here, and I'm going to replace. Then I'm going only to change this to MD12. Then I can also change this to update customer details. So, and I can do away with this. So here we'll say update customer details. So if I apply the changes, I should be able to see my form updating, and we have the new layout. So let's just wait and see. So it should refresh, and we should have our new changes within our app. Let's just rebuild and apply the changes. So if you're new to this channel and you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing, like our video, and comment down below. So you can see we can go to customers, and if we click edit, you can see I have update customer details, and I can actually change this Techno. Then I can say updated. So if we just save, so I'm able to save, and you'll be able to see here it is actually Techno updated. So you can also do this, edit this, we say Techno 2 updated. So if we save, we should be able to see Techno 2 updated, and our details are still there. The same thing under details, we are able to see our details here. See, this is our customer details, and we are able to see all. And if you click back, we can go back. The same way we can click delete, we're able to delete. So if I just do that and I delete, we'll be able to see we've deleted one of our customers. So that is a simple way on how to create a CRUD app. And assuming you may want to do maybe instead of using models, you may want to use ViewModels. So you can actually do that. So to do that, we are going to create another folder. So let's create another folder, and you can call it, let's just go here. I'm going to create another folder called ViewModels. So here, you can just create another folder. Then we call these ViewModels. So if we do that, then I'm going to create another model called customer view model. So customer view model. So if we do customer view model, I can actually duplicate all the details within my customer page here. So I don't want to add, so you see, I want to do that, and I can add it within our customer view model. So if I just copy that and paste here, I'll have my customer view model. So within our customer view model, I can also include another property called public, then customer. So that is customer, then I can also do customer. But now the good thing is I don't have to update my database, because all these we are not actually interacting with our view models, but our models. So I can also have a list of customers here. and I can do that. Then I'll say this is customers. So if we just have my list of customers here, I can actually use this view model. I can go to my views, then under index, instead of using customer view enumerable customer model, I can actually remove this and use my customer view model. So here I'll go to my folder view models, then I'll use my customer view model. Then if you just do that, you'll be able to see that our app here will have some problems. So that means we need to loop through we just do dot customers. So that is our list of customers. But for us to use this list of, to get the data from the customers view model that we've just done, we need to do something. So what we need to do is we need to go to our razor, that is our controller, and I'm going to our controllers here. Then within the index page, I'm going to pass my view model here, the one that we've just created, and I'll say VM. So I'll call that VM. So within my VM, I can actually do here, I'll say VM, then I'll say dot customers, and I can assign it the values. So the values that I'm going to assign is the list of customers, you see? So this is the list of customers. So I'm going to assign the list of customers. Then what we need to return to our view is actually the customer return view. Then inside here, we'll replace it with our VM. So if we just launch our app, nothing has happened. So we've just detached ourselves from using view model, that is the model, to now view model. So if we just do that, let's just launch our app and see. We should be able to load our data as expected without any challenges. So if we click on customers, you'll be able to see our customers list. You can see we have our customers list, and we are actually now using a view model. So we are using customers view model instead of customer models. So assuming you want to change this to when you're adding a customer, you need to use this model or view model. So that is now where we have something called AUTOMAPPER, where that now comes into play. So to use AUTOMAPPER, you can actually add a NuGet package manager. So go to our NuGet packages, then add manage NuGet packages. Then you can add a NuGet package called AUTOMAPPER. So I'm going to add here AUTOMAPPER. So if we click AUTOMAPPER, you can actually add these AUTOMAPPER. And AUTOMAPPER is actually a convention-based object-to-object mapper. You can map data from translate data from one object to another object. So I'm going to do that and install it. So if you just install on it, then you should be able to see it within our packages, and we have it under our packages area. So you'll be able to see it here. So to use AUTOMAPPER, we need to do some things. One thing is we need to create a class called profiles. And so I'm going to create a folder here called, so let's just create a folder called profiles. So I'll just do profiles. So if we create profiles, so I want us to create another class called profiles. We call it AUTOMAPPER profiles. So here I'll just have these as capital. So AUTOMAPPER profiles. Then within our AUTOMAPPER profiles, these actually should inherit from what we call now profile, which is part of AUTOMAPPER. So here to use this, we need to import, and we should actually be using AUTOMAPPER. So if we just import using AUTOMAPPER, then we should be good to go. So I'm going to click that and click using. So here you'll be able to see using AUTOMAPPER. So the next thing is we need to have our constructor here. So I'll just do CTO. Then I'll have my constructor here for AUTOMAPPER. Then, so here, what we need to do on our AUTOMAPPER here, we now need to create a map. So I'll just create map. We said AUTOMAPPER is a convention-based object-to-object mapper. So I'll just do provide my source and destination. So my source will be customer. So will be our customer model. So this is our customer, and we can actually have. So we can actually have my source will be my customer view model. So let's just change that to customer view model. Then my destination will be my customer. So there we go. And actually we can, when we do that, we can also do a reverse map. So you just do dot reverse map, then we do that, and we should be good. That means we can map data from our customer view model to our customer model, or we can do vice versa. That is customer model to customer view model. So after doing that, we need to now define something within our program.cs. So what we need to do is we need to add the AUTOMAPPER service within our program.cs. So if you just go to program.cs, I want us to add something here. So we'll just do a variable, then we can do config, then we can say is equals to new, then you can say AUTOMAPPER, then we can do mapper configuration. Then when we do mapper configuration, I'll just open this brackets. Then we can do here options. Then we can define now the options that we have. So here I'll just do option. Then I can say dot allow null destination values. We can do set that to true. So set this to true. Then you can also have options, and you can say dot allow null collections, and you can say this to true. Then the next thing is to now add our profile. So we'll just do options, then we say dot add profile. Then we can do here new. Then you can provide now our AUTOMAPPER profile class that we just added. So I'll just do AUTOMAPPER. Where is it? We can actually copy it from here. So I'm going to copy it here, then add it here. Then we can close that. So, and close it here. Then you can also do it here. Then the next thing is we can create a variable here called mapper. Then you can say is equals to now the options, that is the config. So you can now have our config, then you can say create mapper. So if we do that, then we now have our builder.services. Then we can have add singleton, and you can provide our mapper. So the mapper that we are providing is this one. So if we do that, then we should be good now to map our details from one object to another. So that means if we go to our create model, that is our create view, we can actually, instead of using our customer model the way we are using here, we can change this to use ViewModels, and you can change here to use customer view model. So if you just do that, then our form will be mapped to our customer view model. So that means if we go to our controllers under customers, then go to create action. Remember, we are expecting data from our customer model. But now I'll change this to customer view model. So we are expecting now data from our customer view model. But now, after we've done that, remember what we are saving is actually our customer model, not our customer view model. So if you try to save this, it will actually give you an error. So, but before doing anything, we need to inject something here. So I'll just do private read only. Then I can do imapper. So then I can do underscore mapper. Then I can also have these within my constructor, inject it here, and I can have a mapper. So if I do that, then I can assign the values here. So I'll just do mapper, then I'll do that. So after that, we can now use these we can now use it within our create action method. So remember, we have two areas. We have the get and the post. So this is where we are configuring all our details. So here I'll just create a new, so I'll just variable, then I'll say customer. So here I'm going to say this is I'm going to call this is VM. Then here I'm going to call here, just do customer. Then I'll say new. I'm going to instantiate that. Then we have our customer here. So after doing that, I want now to map. So let's see. You see, it is actually telling us the required customer name must be set and required member name must be set. So here I just do it that way. So here it is telling us customer name must be set in the object initializer. So let's just do this. So you can do that. Then you can say, sorry, let's enter. Then I'll just say name. Remember, our name is required, so we need to assign the values. Our email address is also required. We need to assign the values. And the phone number is also required. Then we need to assign the values. So you can see everything is okay. So after doing that, we need now to map our data from our customer view model to our customer model. So remember, the only thing that will have the values are these ones. What happens to the rest? So we can actually do this. So we can now map the data from our view model to our model. And to do that, we can actually now use AUTOMAPPER to do all those things. So what we need to do is we need to just do here _mapper. We now use what we defined up there. Then we say is equals to, actually it should be mapper, then dot, then you can say map. Then we need to pass our source. So you see, it is actually source to destination. So our source is our VM, then our destination is our customer here. So our source is our VM, then our destination is our customer here. So it will actually now map our data from our VM to our customer. So we've actually made those changes, but now let's put in a breakpoint here and see what will happen. So let's launch our app and we go and try to create a new customer. So for those who are watching this video and you like it, comment down below, subscribe, and even share so that you are able to reach more people who are learning .NET. So let's just launch our app and see what will happen. So there we go. Our app has launched. So if we go to customers, you can actually create a new customer. Remember, we are using now our view model. So I'm going to create a Samsung, provide some details here, facts. Then if I click create, we should be able to hit our breakpoint, and there we go. So that means our data from the view was coming in with our view model. So if we hover here, we should actually see that our view model has some data, as you can see. And this data has now been translated to our view model. That is our model here called customer. So if we just hover on customer, our customer will be having the data. Assuming you are doing a one-to-one mapping like this one. So you can actually, and our model maybe is actually huge. So you can actually it will be hectic for you to do a one-to-one mapping like this. So that is now when AUTOMAPPER comes in to help us to map data automatically from one object to another. And I think that this now makes sense when you are seeing this in action. So if we just proceed, we should be able to save our data. But now there is something that is coming up. So you see the model item pass into the data dictionary is of type customer.models.customer, but this view data dictionary requires a model of item. So that means if you go to our view model, you see it has actually saved the data here, but it is trying to return the view. Remember, we changed our view. It is not using now the customer, but it is using our that is customer view model. So what you should do is actually change this. Instead of returning view, we should return VM. So I'm going to relaunch our app, then see how that now works. So let's just launch our app. So there we go. So if you're new to this channel and you've encountered this video for the first time and you like the video, comment down below and subscribe. So I'm going to access our customers page, as you can see. Then if I go to new, going to create a customer fax there, provide the details. And if I click create, we can do away with our breakpoint now. Then if I continue, I should save our data and proceed. But now there is something that is going wrong. So you should see that our isValidate is actually kind of failing. So let's just confirm. So if we click create, let's put in a breakpoint here. Our model state.validate is failing. So if we do that, we should actually see it's saying false. And we can see that we have our address, city, then all these details is already saved. And you can see it's actually validating our model state here. But what we should, so we can actually do away with this. Let's just remove that. And we can have that. So if we do that, let's just relaunch our app. Then we proceed. So there we go. So let's just launch again. And we go to our customers. So if we go to our customers, then add new customer. Then if we just do a new customer, East Africa, then provide the details. Then if I click save, I should be able now to save my data. You see, everything is going on well. So I can save another data here, do that, save it. You can see my numbers are increasing. So we've actually done a CRUD operation with our app, and we are able now to save some data to our application. And you can see in case you fill in, and there is actually some validation for those fields that are required. So even if we leave our name and you try to save, you see it is actually telling us the name is required. So if I just provide the name and save, then our form will be saved. So at some point you might want to have maybe some error messages that is kind of you may want to have some error message that is kind of descriptive than the ones that we are being provided by our models. So if we do that, we can actually go back to our models and you can enhance this. So for now, we are not going to enhance it on the models, but on the view models. Remember, we are using the view models. So you see here, we are using these as a required, then we say string name. You can also do it here. We say, you can actually do it here. We say required at the top. So you can actually do required, then you can remove this. And when you do this, you can actually do that. You can say, when you say that, then you can provide an error message. So you can do error message. In case it is not provided, you can give the error message that you want to provide. So you can say, please provide valid customer name. So you see, that is the error message that will be displayed. The same case for those fields that are required here. So you can do away with this. Then you just have required. Then you can say, please provide valid customer email address. So you can do that. And also, in case you want to ensure that our email address is valid, you can also do another annotation here. Then you can do that. Then you say email address. If we just do that, we should actually provide a valid email address. So let's just relaunch our app and see how that applies. So this will actually validate and ensure that you are providing a valid email address. So let's just launch our app and see how that happens. So if you're new to this channel and you like our video, comment down below, subscribe, and even share. So if I click new, I can maybe, assuming I don't want to provide the names, so here let's just copy the details, then I'll remove the name and try to save. So if I just remove this name, and you see it is actually now giving us the error message that we customize. So our error message is now, please provide valid customer name. So that is how you provide custom error messages. So we've actually done the all CRUD operation up to where we are. So the next thing is, assuming you might want now to host this application on IIS. So how do you do that? So we've added all these options, but one thing that I want us to do, I want us, whenever we just launch our app, it should take us to the customers list instead of giving us this page. So to do that, you can actually navigate to our program.cs. Then here you see that it is actually our default route is home, then index. So I can change this to customers. So if you just do customers, then it will actually navigate us directly to our customers whenever we launch our app. So let's just launch the app and see what will happen. So this will redirect us to our customers page without even navigating to the. So that will be our landing page. So let's just launch and see. You see, it has now taken us to our customers page without even doing anything. So, and as you can see now, we have our complete CRUD app where you can delete, edit, and you can register a user within our application. So what I want us to do now is, assuming you may want to publish this app on IIS. So how do you do that? So let's just go back to our code. So if you go back to our code and stop this application, you can actually come to our application here, then right click on the application here. Then if you right click, you are being told there is an action here called publish. So if you click publish, it will give you some options and a dialog to create a profile. So you can publish this to Azure. You can also publish this to a Docker container registry. You can publish to a folder, to FTP or FTP server, to web server IIS or import profile. So for now, we are setting this to a profile. So I'm going to publish this to a folder, and then I'll choose this. You can actually choose the folder where you want your application to be published. So I can browse and I can navigate within my machine. But for now, I'm going to leave it that way. Then if I click finish, it will now create my profile and I will be able to have my profile here. So you'll see it has actually created my profile on this other side. So if I click close on it, then you'll be able to see we have the target location. This is where the folder will be, the files will be published. You can also check if you want to delete existing files in case they were there. So you can edit this. If you click edit, you should be able now to edit this. And you can see you want to publish in release mode. The target framework is .NET 8. Deployment mode is framework dependent. Target runtime, you can see you can have portable. For me, I can have it as Windows 6 or 4. Then I can also use my default, you can see, use this connection string. And you can see this connection string is actually what we configured in our app settings. It has all our database name, you see, and it has our server name. Then for the publish options, this is where you can check this, delete all existing files prior to publishing, and you can save it. So if you save it, you'll be able to see that this is now altered to true. So after doing that, and you're okay with our profile, so this is actually our publishing profile, you can now click at the top here to publish this. So if you click publish, our application will start showing here we are publishing this to a folder. And remember the folder that we've chosen. So it will publish all these files to a folder that we've indicated. So that is when now we'll be copying these files to IIS and you can host our application. So you can see all these files has been published and we can access them. So to access them, I'm going to click here and it will actually open for me all the files that has been published. So my files, let me just show you guys. So this is my files. So my files has been published and you can see all these are my files. So I want to copy these files. So I'll just copy. Then I want to go to my IIS. So I'll just do IIS. So I'll search IIS, and if I open IIS, it will I can now navigate to my IIS without any problems. So you can see it has opened my IIS, and within our IIS, I can go to my application pools. Then under sites, we'll see I have my sites here. So I can create another site. So if I click new, I can say this is a customer app. So this is my customer app. Then I can choose the folder. So the folder where we are going to publish this is actually under local disk C, then inetpub. Then you can go to www-root. Then I'm going to create a folder, a new folder here. So I can make a folder and I'm going to call this customer app. So if I do that, then I can click OK. And you'll see that this is linked to my customer app. Then I can actually give it a port. I can say maybe this is 7090. That will be my port. And I click OK. So this will be my customer app. So if I want to explore to that folder, I can use this option here to explore. So if I click on explore, it will take me directly to that specific folder. And you can see here, that is the folder that we are in. And this is where I'm going to paste all my files that we just published. So I'll just do that and copy. So all my files that we just published will be published there. So I'm going to transfer them there. So as you can see, I have all my files there. So if I go back to IIS and click my app on browse section, click browse. So my app should actually launch and I should be able to view my customers. So you can see it is now showing me. So that is it, guys, for today. We are going to leave it there. So if you like our videos, subscribe to our channel, comment down below, and see you in our next video. Bye.